here and welcome back to Willow's Witchy Garden. Today I am finally getting my Greenstalk planter put together and started planting anyway. So today I want to show you just exactly how I'm going to amend the soil that I'm putting into each one of the tiers. I'm going to show you what I'm planting in it, and then I'm going to assemble it. And I also want to show you the comparison, if you haven't already seen it, between this Greenstalk planter and also the Dollar Tree stackable planters that I've already started using. So I'm very excited to get started finally today. So let's get this going and let's see how this turns out. So I went ahead and I filled all 5 tiers with some Kellogg's organic potting mix, and that's exactly what you would need for a container type situation. It's not going to be the same kind of soil you just put in your garden. This is actually just for pots and containers. Then I went ahead and I'm gonna just bring this down so you can see it. I added 3 tablespoons of azomite per tier and about 1/3 of a cup of this Dr. Earth organic natural. It's like a time release type of fertilizer. It's granular. So that's what I put in each one of the containers for each one of the tiers. And I want to show you now what I'm going to be planting in them. So I have told you in previous videos that I lost a lot of my peppers this year. This location that I'm in is really prone to flooding. And back in April, we had a pretty bad flood and all of my raised beds were inundated by this flood water. And because of that, all of my peppers, like I lost 27, 28 peppers to bacterial wilt. And I don't have very many left. And I decided that because I have a nice long growing season, I would just grow some more peppers. And so I did. I planted more pepper seeds, and well, I have quite a few. So I ended up with 29 pepper seedlings. I'm not going to put all of them in the Greenstalk, but I think I'm going to put 2 tiers of them in. So I will be planting 12 of the 29 peppers. I also picked up at Lowe's some chives and a little bit of chamomile. I picked up some more marigolds, and of course, who doesn't have enough basil? Me. So I also got some basil. Now, when purchasing plants, I got to tell you guys, get your money's worth. This pot has 5 basil plants in it. They had some that only had 3 plants in it. But if I'm going to spend $6 on a pot of basil, I'm going to get as many plants as I can. And this one had 5. I figured that was worth the price. Now, as for seeds that I will be planting, I am going to be planting these 3 bush beans. I've got purple teepee, I've got Kalima, and royalty purple pod. And these have been doing the best for me in my garden so far. But I succession plant beans anyway, so I thought, why not plant some more? The other thing that I want to try are the dark cucumber and a miniature white cucumber. Both of those really work well in containers. They don't get very long vines, only maybe 18 inches or so. And I figured that might be really good in one of the tiers of the 5-tier planter. So I'm going to get started and show you what I'm doing. So the first thing I did was stack 2 of the tiers together. I wanted to make sure I could do it by myself. They do get a little bit heavy when you fill them with dirt. So I didn't want to moisten that each tier and then stack them because I was afraid I'd end up hurting myself or dropping and breaking one of them. And I didn't want either of those to happen. So I went ahead and I just stacked up 2 to see how it worked. I did buy the base separately. They have wheels, 3 locking and 3 stationary, or they're not stationary, but they don't lock. And that way I can turn this around and make sure that each plant's going to get enough sunshine. Now I also wanted to show you the difference between the Dollar Tree stackable planters and the Greenstalk. This is 5 of the Dollar Tree stackables planted or stacked up on top of each other to show you the height. And even 5 of them is not as high as 2 of the Greenstalk. So I'm really excited to get going with the Greenstalk. I'm going to be able to plant peppers in these 2 bottom ones. I've got beans that I want to plant in at least 1 tier, and then some herbs and some cucumbers. So I'm going to get started planting, and we'll see how this turns out. All right, I got the peppers that I wanted to plant in here. I put 2 of each kind. I have 2 Anaheim, 2 Etruria, 2 purple Murasaki's, 2 lipstick, and 2 sweet chocolate. And hopefully these will do well in this container. They are up off the ground, so hopefully flooding will not damage them. The next tier that I'm going to be planting in will have some herbs and some beans. And I think I'm going to do that for 2 tiers, and the top will be the cucumbers. So I'm going to continue with my planting. So I'm going to put the lemon thyme real close to the edge because I want that to kind of vine down. I think that'd be really pretty. I did pre-moisten the soil just a little bit. Now, I love the watering system that comes with this planting system. There are little dishes, as you might have seen before I stacked this one on here, and you water from the top, and I'll show you all of that in the end, but it's going to water it evenly throughout the whole thing, and that's why I really love this too. I can't overwater or underwater when I'm watering it. So I'm doing thyme here, and then I'm going to get some of this basil out. And we have a very large pot of this, so let me see if I can take it out. I'm going to separate this because I surely don't need this much in here. But basil is very forgiving, so I can take off a nice chunk and I can put it, I think we're going to put it in this one because I want beans in every other one. Now I'm planting these kind of close to the edge of the planter because I don't want them to get pinched by the next layer for 1, and for 2, they need to get sunshine. So that way, this ought to work just fine. And I'm trying to decide what else I should put in this one. Let's see. I guess I could put more basil. I think I'm going to grab one of my marigolds. So I got some of my marigolds over here and I pulled them apart because there were several in that pot as well. And I'm just going to drop one of the plants in here. Marigolds can really spread if given the chance. So I'm going to have to keep on top of this, because I don't think this is a dwarf variety, but I think we're going to be okay. And I want to make sure that we have enough space here for that watering tray. And then these other 3 are going to have bean seeds in them. So let me dust my hands off and grab the seeds. So watching the video from the actual company that makes Greenstalks, they were showing that 3 bean seeds per section is perfectly fine. So I'm going to grab 3 bean seeds. I did not soak my seeds. I have been finding this year that whether I soaked them or not, they came out just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and plant 3 seeds here in each spot. Remember, when planting seeds, you want to plant them twice as deep as they are wide. So for these beans, I'm making them about a ½ inch deep. So that one is purple TP. I also brought out tags so I can mark them. Until I get those tags over here, though, I'm going to leave the package right there so that I know what I planted here. Now I think Kalima is one of my favorite beans. They're very long and slender. They have really good flavor. So I really want more of these to grow. And last but not least, the Royalty Purple Pod. I'm going to grab some name tags so we don't forget what we planted and where we planted it. So I got my tags in so I can remove my beans packages now. So now I'm going to give it just a little bit of a drink because I don't want them to get too dried out while I'm getting the rest of these tiers planted. So I'm on tier number 4. I have already separated out some basil here. We're going to put that, let's see, I think we'll put the chives over here first. I have some onion chives. That's what they're calling it. To me, most chives smell like onion anyway. They're from the same family. But we're going to get some chives in here. It's much easier to plant when it's more your height. It's better than having to bend down. Once again, sticking my tags in there so I remember what I planted. Now I'm going to skip this one for beans. And I'm going to put over here, we're going to put this basil. Rained a little bit earlier, so now it's getting really humid out here. Whew, that sun is hot. All right, and finally I'm going to get this marigold in over here. Now you might wonder, why am I doing this when I have a pretty good sized garden with raised beds? Well, the truth is I have been thinking about moving, and I really want to not have to worry about if I have a big enough space for raised beds. If I can grow in a Greenstalk planter, and I can get enough things to grow, I can grow in a 3-foot square space per 5-tier planter. And that's 30 plants, or 30 spots for plants, and more if you're planting beans, of course. And so it made me think, if I got the Greenstalk, it would take stress off of me when I'm looking for a new place. And so that's what I'm doing. And I'm thinking maybe by the end of the season, maybe in the fall, I will be looking for a new place to live, and this is going to take a lot of pressure off of me. And I do think I probably will buy more of these Greenstalk planters because I really am enjoying putting this together, and I can hardly wait to see what I get on. So there you have it. I have the top on here. This is what you water in. It has lines on it to show you exactly how much water to fill it to. And this will give the right amount of water for all 5 tiers. You can't make it much easier than that, guys. And I like it because I plan on doing some traveling, and I do have someone that will come and house sit and watch my cats and water my plants. And so this is going to make it easier for them. All they have to do is fill it to the line and they're done. That's pretty easy. So I'm really excited that I finally have my Greenstalk set up and planted. And I can hardly wait to see how well these plants are going to do in it. I know I'm going to have a little transplant shock for the peppers right away, but I can still move this in and out of too bright of sun right now since they're still small. I love that. I can turn this around and help them out so that everything is going to get sunshine when it needs it. This makes life so much easier. And to be able to plant this much in a 3-foot square space is absolutely amazing. And there are accessories that you can get. You could actually grow tomatoes in this. And they've got extra things that you can purchase that makes it so that they're held up. So there's like support systems you can buy to go along with this. They've got all kinds of stuff. And it's really worth the investment. And I plan on getting a couple more at least of these. And maybe just try growing completely in this next year and see what I can do. But if I have a smaller space, that's maybe all I can do. And that's okay, because even in an urban space, we can plant and we can grow our own food. So if you like this video and the content, give it a thumbs up. If you really like what I'm putting out there, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave me a comment. Let me know, do you have a Greenstalk? Would you like to get a Greenstalk? I know lots of the different larger YouTubers have that discount code for $10 off. So I just highly recommend that you get one if you don't have a lot of space but would like to grow several things. And don't forget, you can follow me on Facebook at Willow's Witchy Garden page. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Willow's Witchy Garden. And until next time, stay healthy and be blessed.